A lot of people disappear without a trace, but in the case of Maura Murray, it seems like something more mysterious might be at play. There is a lot of information to go over, so this is going to be multiple parts, so buckle in. Murray was known as an all-American good girl, and she had straight A's in high school, was a star of her local track team, but all of that flipped on its head as soon as she went away to college. She started off college in West Point, and it turns out after her departure that she had 7 disciplinary hearings. One, which almost or would have gotten her kicked out if she didn't leave, due to shoplifting of makeup. After she left West Point, she went to UMass. When Maura went to UMass, her behavior got really strange, and it seemed like she had this whole secret personality that she was hiding from the world. Well, she first got in trouble because she used another person's credit card to purchase copious amounts of food, and it later became rumored that she had a pretty severe bulimic eating disorder, which again is not confirmed. It is all just rumors. This picture was taken of her after she was caught, which again, this person in this photograph is not the Maura that everyone describes. She was always described as her, this happy, smiling person with amazing dimples who could light up a room. This girl is someone else altogether, and it continues to get weirder. So at Maura's job as a security guard checking student IDs to let them into their dorms, she was acting completely normal until around 1 a.m. when she started hysterically crying and was inconsolable. Someone called Karen, the supervisor, because Maura wasn't able to do her job properly. Karen came, and when she got there, something was really wrong. Something was off. Maura was just staring blankly into space, like just 110% disassociated, depersonalized, checked out. Maura claims that her sister Kathleen had said something to her on the phone, but when call logs were checked, she had spoken to Kathleen at 10:40 p.m. around that time, and the last person she was on the phone with until a little after midnight was her boyfriend, right before she flipped that switch. So Karen walked her back to her dorm, and when she insisted on going up to her room with Maura to talk to her, Maura said, "It's fine, I won't be alone, I have my roommate," which was a lie. Maura lived in a single. Karen recalls how deeply disturbed Maura seemed, and just something was very wrong, and she feels incredibly guilty for not pushing the matter and going up to Maura's dorm. She feels like she could have done something. The disappearance of Maura Murray is one of the most mysterious cases I have ever heard of, so let's get right back into it for part 2. Shortly after that whole incident at work with Karen, the supervisor, and lying about having a roommate, Maura's dad showed up to help her buy a new car, which is odd because no one knew that this was happening. No one knew that that's why her dad was there. It only came out that that was the case after she disappeared. Her father, Fred, drove Maura and her 2 friends, Katie and Sarah, to the liquor store to buy copious amounts of alcohol because Sarah was throwing a party. For some incredibly odd reason, Fred gave Maura his car, his brand new car, to drive to and from the party. I don't know about you, but that seems kind of questionable and suspicious to me. Maura, Katie, and Sarah had no recollection of the party, even though it was Sarah who threw it. It was her party. They couldn't tell you who was there, what happened. The only thing that came from it is that Maura supposedly left with a guy, even though that is unconfirmed and she had a boyfriend at the time. She left around 2:30 to bring her dad's car back to him. Maura totaled her dad's car on the way back to the motel. There's no evidence if she got in trouble or not for driving while intoxicated, which it seems like she's very good at sweet-talking her way out of precarious situations that she puts herself in. Somehow, she, after getting a ride back with the tow truck driver, she let herself into her dad's motel room even though she did not have a key, and called her boyfriend from his phone, cried a little bit about the accident, and then fell asleep. Fred had no idea that she was there, which again, very suspicious. How did she get into his motel room, and how in a single room would he have no idea that she was there, even though she called her boyfriend in the room? There's also no statements as to whether there was one or two beds. So this whole thing just really doesn't make sense, from her dad loaning her his car to go drive to a party where she was obviously going to drink, to her then letting herself into his room after the accident and him having no idea. The next day, after her father left town, is the day that Maura disappeared.